Well, this kind of shows you how backwards Missouri is. They have a law that denies women the ability to file divorce if they're pregnant, which then means that abusive men can trap women by getting them pregnant, and they won't be able to do anything because they can't leave because of Missouri's medieval law of not allowing women to divorce while pregnant. That is truly insane that if a woman is pregnant, they can't file for divorce. And what, this is supposed to be a law to protect women or something like that? That's what, a right winger will claim.
A decades old law creating new barriers for women who are facing unfathomable challenges in Missouri.
I had asked my husband at the time to go and get help because I had realized that he was being abusive towards me and towards my child. He was not getting help, so I decided to file for divorce.
That's Elle. She's a domestic abuse survivor living in Missouri. We're not using her name out of concern for her safety. When she attempted to file for divorce while pregnant with her second child, her own lawyer told her she'd have to wait to give birth, citing a law put on the books in the 1970s.
I was crying.
Wow, she's being abused by her husband, and because she's pregnant, she can't get a divorce. This kind of only protects abusive men. It does not protect women whatsoever. It actually harms women because they can't escape abusive relationships if they're pregnant. That is truly insane. This is one reason why no-fault divorce was put into law so that women facing abuse could divorce their abusive husbands and be able to find safety somewhere else. But, right wingers truly don't care about the safety of women. All they care about is men being able to do what they want against women and have no consequences.
And literally felt defeated and broken that I couldn't help protect my kiddo. I ended up having to go home to the home that I shared with my abusive husband. I continued to be physically, sexually, and mentally abused. I had to sleep on my child's floor in the night just to protect my child. This is all while being pregnant. I was yelled at, pushed into the walls.
The state law requires women to
Wow, that's sad that she had to go through this and that there is no law to help protect her. The law only protects the abuser. I mean, this woman could have ended up dead. Same with the child. In what then Missouri law will come in and do something? That is just truly insane where abusive men are protected under the law.
disclose whether they're pregnant when filing for divorce. And according to the law, judges cannot finalize the divorce during pregnancy. It was originally put into place to ensure the biological father would remain financially responsible for a child. But fast forward 50 years or so.
Oops. Um, you don't need to force the woman to stay with an abusive person in order to make sure that the father will pay for the child. All you gotta do is punish the man for not sending financial support. If they don't want to pay, well, put them in jail instead of, forcing the woman to stay with the abusive man.
So now in the US, women who are pregnant or have recently given birth are more likely to be murdered than to die from causes related to their pregnancy. Researchers from Harvard attribute this to the combination of domestic violence and firearms. Advocates
Yeah, when you have a domestic abuser that has access to guns, it is quite easier for them to kill the person. All you gotta do is pick up the gun and blam, blam, blam. But this law is only there to protect the abusers, and it's truly disgusting. It shows how backwards Missouri actually is. Any state that has this kind of law is truly backwards.
say the Missouri law specifically is weaponized against domestic abuse victims, often in the form of reproductive coercion.
So their partner was using their pregnancies or their existing children to keep them in a marriage. Sometimes that looks like messing with birth control. Sometimes it's not allowing them access to any kind of reproductive care. Sometimes it's spousal rape.
Democratic State Representative Ashley Awney introduced new legislation in hopes to reverse the law.
What I'm aiming to do here really is to give judges just another tool in their toolbox.
But the path ahead here is uncertain. Awney is a Democrat, which means her bills get little attention in the Republican supermajority state house.
I had
You would think that if Republicans actually cared about women, about a fetus, about kids, that they would be in favor of this law of overturning divorce while pregnant in order to help protect domestic victims, but they don't care. They've never cared about women. They never cared about kids, nor do they truly care about the fetus. All they care about is controlling women and making sure they're submissive of men in whatever way, and that every single law on the books is used against them.
Republican representative say to me, it's too bad that there was a Democrat that put this forward, because we could have probably gotten it passed if it was a Republican.
Texas, Alabama, and Arkansas also will not finalize a divorce if one party is pregnant. All of these states
Yeah, well, those states are also backwards, and it's no surprise, especially like with Texas. Texas is a really shitty state when it comes to.
and Missouri also have total abortion bans.
How much, from your perspective, does the fact that Roe v. Wade was overturned play into this?
Huge. It's huge. In the wake of that abortion ban, yes, this bill is even more needed than ever, because if you can keep a woman pregnant and in a marriage she doesn't want to be in, she is forced to carry that pregnancy to term. And it's looking like she's also being forced to stay in the marriage that she doesn't want to be in.
For Elle, it took 6 years to ultimately feel safe and secure after processing her divorce.
If it would have been granted when I initially went, I do honestly feel that there would have been less trauma. The pieces that those two children went through are still affecting them today at school age.
Generational trauma.
Yeah, again, if Republicans actually did care about kids like they claim to, they would be in favor of something like this, because women going through domestic violence has a real big impact on the kids, and it has an impact on the fetus. A lot of that stress hormone and stuff is going to affect the fetus. And if Republicans also cared about like the safety of the fetus, they would be in support of something like this. But the fact that they're not, and the fact that they're in support of keeping women in marriages while they're being domestically abused, shows that Republicans never cared about women, they never cared about the fetus, and they never cared about kids.
Trauma seemingly kept going because of a political